Hello, hello. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, I have three things noted down that I thought of before bed. The first one was 100 videos. So I think that from now on, if I don't know what I'm going to do on stream, I will watch one of my 100 videos. Hello, by the way. I was saying, well, I'm not sure if anyone is here. This is working so good for me, I would have missed it since I was playing RimWorld. Well, nice to see. Oh, RimWorld, that was the thing that I wanted you to remind me of. I don't think I will find the thing that I wanted to find yesterday. Yesterday I wanted to find about, oh, maybe just the Steam page of RimWorld will be enough because that is literally like, it's literally the extent to which I know the game. But I think inspired by Dwarf Fortress, Firefly, and Dune. Interesting. I think I found. I don't know what I found. Yeah, it's like a colony. I found like some data or something that was like, I don't know. I forgot the topic about also. It was funny. Let's see. Control H. Rim World. Let's see. Is there like a history thing? Extensions. Extensions. History Trends Unlimited. Rim World. Go. Maybe not. I forgot. It was something interesting about the game. Relationships. Oh. Anyways, I was thinking that if I don't know what I'll do on stream, I will watch a video of mine. And since I have 100, actually way more, I will have 100 days of streaming where I can, yeah, just do something. that I have wanted to be doing, but that I didn't know how. And if I can actually watch even more, to be honest. But yeah. Then the next thing that I had written down is giving up. Well, actually, the next thing that I had written down is Game Driver San Francisco. I want to buy the Game Driver San Francisco, so I'm not sure if I will buy it today or tomorrow, but one of these days I will probably go get it, and maybe even today, because maybe I want to play that tonight. But yeah, after that, I have written the title of the stream, Giving Up, and I think I am giving up. Not on streaming and all that, but just giving up on the expectation that my conditions are going to get better just by doing this. I think this is something that I have to hold as a North Star for the future, but that in the short term is not going to help. So, yeah. It's important for me to keep the North Star, but also to give up, right? I have to give up. It's time, basically. It's time for me to give up, to be like, okay, you tried, you thought that maybe it could also be that way, that the stars could align and that you could get a job from the internet just because you make videos online and because you share your thoughts and all this. I thought it could happen. But it's time to give up that expectation and that thought and still keep it as a North Star, right? So maybe not now, maybe not in 5 years, but maybe in 10 years, all this will be for something. But for now, it won't. So I have to keep myself alive to be alive the next 10 years. And for that, I have to get a job, basically, or do something like that. Maybe not even get a job, but I have to either get a job and go to the job path and all that, or to like start focusing on making money more actively. So basically, like actively reach out to people for me to edit videos for them or something like that, right? I want to think about. I will maybe one of these days, do again one of these giving up videos more. Again, I will repeat the topic of giving up, but now more concrete. Go more concrete on that, and actually, maybe I could do that. I could do that today. So, hashtag giving up. My ass hurts. The problem is that in the short term, I don't know what to do. So, what to do in the short term? Paths, job, freelance, video, editing. I think I can't do video editing freelance. I think I can do it. Website editing freelance. I don't know. That sounds more difficult than what it could be. Websites. I'm more wary of that. Same with full stack web applications and all this. Same with apps. I get you. Well, I'll press my thumbs for you that you at least get a decent starting job. Press my thumbs, that's like a German expression, right? Die Daumen drücken. Ah, no, it's like this apparently. Yeah, same. A lot of little things to look out for in web dev. I don't know. It's more that I don't like that I feel like the way to look for clients, right, in web development. I actually wouldn't mind doing web development as a thing, right? There are a lot of little things, but I think I could do them. Right? It's like in video editing, same. But I don't like the way you look for clients in web development, right? Like in web development, the way to get clients I don't know. It's more local, right? Like what's the biggest advantage that I would have in website development and all this? It's usually like the network that you have, and for websites, the people who are willing to pay for websites. I don't know. Maybe websites are also a good idea, but I don't know. I feel like I have less of a portfolio of websites also, and that I don't have. I also don't think I have a style on YouTube, but I have for YouTube and all this. I think I have the vision. For example, I have watched so much YouTube and all this that I think I can be helpful because of that. And that confidence allows me to network in a more, I don't know, in a more something way. But for web development, I don't have that same confidence, right? I have not obsessed over websites, and I have not like read a ton of websites, analyzing them to see how they work and to see how the page of the website or whatever it is, right? I haven't done that, and I have done it actually more than probably most people, but not to a degree where I would feel somewhat confident that I can help someone out doing it, right? Meanwhile, for YouTube, I do feel like I am more confident in that sense, just on terms of watching. But I have also edited my own stuff, and I have made my own videos, and I like the process of doing it, right? Fair, I guess. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I feel like I also would like to get writing, but I think that because of it's harder to get writing experience or something. Sorry, writing, getting hired for writing without experience, etc., etc. Right? So I don't know. And I don't feel that confident that my writing is good in that sense. I have written a lot, but I don't think I've written like sell things to sell or that kind of thing. Even though I like the topic, and I have books about copywriting and books about ads and all this, but And for job, I would like to get a remote one first, and then there are like physical ones. The one that I mentioned about Cupra or something like this, right? So I guess this is kind of sales, cars related. I don't know. The problem is that I don't think I'm very suited for that. And then the last resort is like INEM. INEM is like the unemployment place, right? So you go there when you don't have a job and you get like unemployment benefits or whatever, right? And they look for jobs for you, I guess. They have like a jobs site or whatever the fuck, I guess. And they match it to your qualifications or whatever, I assume. I don't know how it works, but I assume that's how it goes. And I haven't signed up for this because I thought I could get a better deal for myself than that, right? Because I imagine that there are a lot of demand for engineers, right? Or a lot, not a lot, but some demand for engineers. But it's probably like some, I don't know, not boring thing, but like where the conditions are not good, right? I imagine that it's for a company that pays you like what, 1,200 euros per month or something, and it's doing like some random shit like air conditioning tube installations or something, right? So I'm like, rather than work on like random air conditioning installations for 1,200 euros per month, maybe I can get something better online for myself, right? But if I cannot, I will have to do that, right? That's another aspect of giving up, right? I thought that I could get for something better for myself, but if I cannot, I will do that. I know what you mean. Yeah. Also, or not even, maybe not even. It's not even like installations like that, but it's like the thing that bothers me is that it's probably like 1,200 euros per month. So I think that if it's going to be 1,200 euros per month, at least maybe I would like it to be in an industry where I have like upwards potential, right? So for example, doing web development or something like this in tech, something in tech. In that case, I would like to go into tech because at least I can be like, fuck it, 1 year here, and then using that year, I leverage that to get a good contract outside, right? To get a good which is what I was planning to do in COVID. The problem is that COVID was 4 years ago. So, yeah. The problem is that I never wanted to use the thing to leverage it. Right? I wanted to start well already. And that seemed possible before COVID. It seemed possible because the industry was like tech was pretty booming and all that. Now, it's not like that. So I have to like readjust expectations. But the problem is that I've done already this remote thing. I've already done it so many times, right? I've already tried like the social media things at the beginning of the year, and none of them worked. So I don't know. I don't know if I should keep going because I also didn't get any feedback, right? So it's hard to know what I'm doing wrong in that sense. I asked ChatGPT again. Based on what you know about me, what could I freelance or apply to jobs to? Technical writing and content creation. Use your content engineer background to write technical manuals, guides, or articles. But what about them? Like what? I don't know. Create content for online platforms, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, I could see this. Offer tutoring in mechanical engineering subjects. Create and sell online courses related to mechanical engineering and with technology. Tutoring is actually something that I'd considered. So maybe, okay, tutoring, I will consider tutoring. Freelance. I used to have this idea like several years ago of like now it's several years ago, I guess, but CAD design and 3D modeling. Provide freelance services in CAD design for various engineering projects. Digital marketing for niche markets. Use your understanding of online interactions to help with digital marketing strategies. I would like this, I think, but I don't know how to get into these businesses. Maybe I can ask ChatGPT now. Technical support engineer. Provide technical support for engineering products or services. Let's see what happens if I look for technical support engineer here. See, but this is fucking IT, right? This isn't... I don't know. Lol. Nivel de inglés alto e italiano. Italian. Fuck it, let's save this. Lol. The problem with Arganda del Rey is that it's so fucking far away from me when I live. See, I live here, and it's like on the other side of Madrid. Ingenieros de patentes. Treballar al centre de Barcelona. I don't know why it's set on Barcelona. I know it's set in Spain. Okay. product designer, quality control engineer, research and development. Practical steps to get started with a portfolio. Begin with blah blah blah. Use platforms like to find gigs, networking. I don't know. I feel like I could dialogue a little bit with that. Germany is playing too, by the way, in the Euro Cup. Both Spain and Germany have 3 Euro Cups, apparently. Gelsenkirchen. Taylor Swift plays in Gelsenkirchen also. July 17th. I think the Euro Cup is next week, so. I also found something interesting, like a dealership, Omoda, Villalba. I saw this dealership, which used to be like a Volkswagen dealership, and it's now called Omoda, like it now has Omoda and Jaeco. So I was curious about it. It was interesting because it's like one of these Chinese websites. I want to see these new strange brands. Bleh. it was interesting because it used to be like this big Volkswagen dealership, and now it's a strange franchise of like this with this strange name, Vian Automobile. I don't know. Lol. Polestar. This is a Polestar. Interesting. I wonder who writes this, for example. Who got paid to write this? Someone had to get paid for this. I'm back. Sorry, had a call. What you up to? I'm looking at cars and all this, right? Because I saw this dealership in my go. It's close to where I live. I saw it in the bus. In the bus, you pass for in front of this dealership all the time, and it used to be like a Volkswagen dealership, and now what the hell? There is a Corsa sedan. I didn't know this. Oh no, it's not a sedan. It just looks strange from that angle. Lol. Chevrolet Sail. It's interesting. I wonder who is this guy, for example. Who? How did this guy end up testing this Chevrolet Corsa sedan at the Nürburgring? I don't know. Let's see if. Okay. I was at a car test site for one day when I was a kid because my aunt was a cook there. Interesting. Car test site as in like that, or like for clients to test cars. Hmm. I didn't know that you had to bid on projects. No, like the high speed tests and stuff. Nice. They had a racetrack there and it was covered so you can't see it from the outside, lol. So it was held secret when it was tested there. It was pretty cool. Nice. Where was this? Where do you live, Berlin? Was it when you lived in Berlin as well? I don't know who. Papenburg. Bro. Test tracken. Yo, that's dope. Texting Expo Stuttgart. Price list 2024. Yo, Brabus. Nice. Daniel Apt. Nice. Rimac Nevera. Bro, this place is nice. They're working on some dope shit about us career. What the fuck? Download. Price lists. Login. What the fuck? Where the fuck is Papenburg? Let's see. Low Saxon. Bro, this is called Low Saxony. Why the fuck if it's so high? It's so up north. That's crazy. Oh, so I guess this is Higher Saxony, right? Is it called like Niedersachsen? Niedersachsen. And the other is Hoher Saxon or something. Schleswig-Holstein. Hamburg, Brandenburg, Sachsen-Anhalt. What happens if I just put Saxony? Wait, why is regular Saxony, regular Saxon there, while lower Saxon is here? Old Saxon. Ehemalig Saxon. We drove with one of the drivers and each had one-on-one to sit on the front while driving really steep on the side while going really fast. It was cool, but since I only told you, now you see how high it is in my priority list when it comes to cars, lol. Nice. I'd like to do that. Yeah, Niedersachsen, but I honestly don't know why we have Saxon and Niedersachsen, but they are so weirdly placed. Bro, there is not even a German article for Niedersachsen, for like Old Saxony. Historia de Sajonia. Geschichte Sachsens. Altsachsen. Herzogtum Sachsen. Herzogtum is something like duchy or something like that, right? Herzog is something like that. Ducado, yes. Duchy or something. Ah, so actually Werner Herzog is like Werner Duke or something. What happens if I look up YouTube Sajonia? Sajonia. Saxony history.
The Saxons were an ancient Germanic tribe from the regions that comprise present-day Germany and Denmark, playing a key role in Western European history. Their migration, settlement, and influence shaped the cultural, political,
Oh, actually Anglo-Saxon comes from Saxony, I guess.
and social landscape of the region over the centuries, spanning from the earliest classical accounts to the invasions of Britain and Christianization. The Saxons bequeathed a legacy that continues to be felt today. Saxon origins can be traced back to the Germanic tribes that lived in northern Europe during antiquity and the High Middle Ages. The Saxons first settled in what are now northern Germany and southern Denmark. The name Saxon is often associated with the word Sax, meaning a sort of
For those of you wondering why Lower Saxony is lower, it has to do with elevation. As Saxony more mountainous, while Lower Saxony is flat. Therefore, okay, neither Saxon like the Netherlanden, that kind of neither. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Toma, this guy conquered a lot. Or married someone important. I didn't know. Herzogtum Sachsen. Damn, big year for the Saxons. Okay, so that became the higher Saxony region, right? Or Saxony, Freistadt Sachsen. Around here is like Sachsen Altstadt or whatever the fuck it's called, Sachsen Anhalt. What does Anhalt mean? Anhalt is just a place, I guess, right? Anhalt. Anhalt-Wittenberg. Anhalt-Bitterfeld. Köthen-Anhalt. Köthen. Anhalt-Köthen. A principality of the Holy Roman Empire. Zwickau and Schneeberg in Saxony. Destination Kultur. Nostalgic cars and design. Let's see. Bro, what the fuck? Bad year for the Saxons, the 1200s. Kurfürstentum Sachsen. Oh, so the old Saxony becomes big here, even though they lost the originals. People lasted very little. It's like 5 years and there's a new king, 5 years and there's a new king, 5 years and there's a new king. This one is lasting. Will they put like the, I don't know, like the modern people? What music is it going to play when Hitler appears? Saxon Zone. König Ralph Saxon. When is the magic here? Like the guy with the helmet, Bismarck's. When is that guy big here? It has to be soon, right? 1855. Okay, here it had to be, right? Already, the guy had to be. So it was just still called. Gau Saxony. Free State of Saxony, Lower Saxony, Karl Marx Stadt, and they renamed it after reunification, I guess, right? Saxony-Anhalt, Sachsen-Anhalt, Niedersachsen, Freistaat Sachsen. David McAllister. Lol.
Don't forget to check out my podcast, AD History, where me and my co-host Paul are retelling and evaluating world history from 1 AD all the way up to the present day, decade by decade. You'll be able to find it wherever you choose to listen to podcasts. We have the Romans to thank for the name Germany. In fact, none of the most famous Roman himself, Julius Caesar. In one of his writings, he spoke of a tribal people he called the Germani, people the Romans had come into contact with who resided in modern-day Germany. And because of these people, the Romans dubbed their land the Germania, which transformed into the name Germany we have today. Though it wasn't just the Germani people who lived in this land. All kinds of different tribes of people lived in the lands that would become Germany, and all these tribes had different names. Because of this, different outsiders gave the land different names depending on what Germanic tribe they first met or had to deal with most. In example, the French dealt with a lot of the Alemanni tribe, so for them the country became Alamanche. Meanwhile, Finnic speakers in Finland and Estonia interacted more with the Saxon tribes, so named the land Saxa after them. While all these other people were giving their land a name, the actual people of the land thought themselves as just people, so named the land after their word for of the people, which was Fudisk, which eventually evolved into the German name for Germany, Deutschland. Now, while this video isn't really about how the nation as a whole got a selection of its many names, I think it's only right to start with this, as the many names of Germany kind of explains to us just how important the various regions of Germany are. Germany really is a country built on its regions. For the longest time in history, there was no nation called Germany, but just a collection of Germanic states that shared very little in common other than languages that all sounded somewhat similar, and it stayed this way all the way up to the 18th of January 1871, where after war the French and the various Germanic states were unified simply into the single nation of Germany. This was all done under the guidance of Otto von Bismarck, a statesman who went to become the first chancellor of Germany, and luckily enough was an incredibly German-looking man himself. What a coincidence, because for so long Germany was little more than an ununified series of states. Many of these states built strong images for themselves, and are perhaps just as well known as the nation as a whole. A name like Bavaria conjures up a strong image in one's mind of greenery, castles and beer, whereas Berlin conjures up an image of modern history and a much more modern design. At least for me it does anyway. And Bavaria and Berlin are both states of Germany, except you may have noticed that one is a huge area of land and one's just a single city. This is because the states of Germany really do vary in size like this, which you will see as we look into them. And Germany has an incredibly rich history, in that many states have disappeared, or only come into existence in the last 30 years or so. I really don't think there are many countries that have changed their borders as much as Germany has. Just look at maps of Germany throughout history. Today, however, we look into the here and now, and today Germany comprises of 16 states, so it's these 16 names we'll be looking into. And as for their names, it's their English names we'll be checking out. Whilst, as we mentioned, the country itself has really different names in English and German, the names of its states aren't as different. On the whole, they aren't completely different names with different meanings for the states between languages. It's just that in their English names, words we have in English are spelled in English. I'm rambling now. This will make more sense as we go along. And let's start up in the north of Germany with the state of Schleswig-Holstein. This state, as mentioned, is the most northern point of Germany, and its northernmost border is Denmark's southernmost border. Because of how close the land is to Denmark, there have been wars and arguments over which country owns the land, and it has even belonged to both countries. Because of this, there's a very mixed population of Germans and Danes living in this land. It's also nicknamed the land between two seas, as to its east is the Baltic Sea, and to its west is the East Sea, which saying it loud is pretty weird, but we live on a globe. One person's east is another's west. The name of this state is of course from joining the two historic states of Schleswig and Holstein. The name of Schleswig comes from the Schlei, an inlet from the Baltic Sea in this land, and the Rig/Rig suffix means bay in Old Norse, so the name means the Bay of the Schlei. The Holstein part of the name is believed to come from a tribal people who lived here called the Holkte, which is believed to mean dwellers in the wood. To the east of this, we have Mecklenburg or West Pomerania, which is known as Mecklenburg-Vorpommern in German. This state seems to take pride in their natural landscapes, almost 2,000 kilometers of coastline along the Baltic Sea, and the picturesque ancient towns that look like they've come out of fairy tales. The current chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, has a constituency in this state. Like with the previous state, this state's name derives from merging the historic regions of Mecklenburg and West Pomerania. The region of Mecklenburg was named after a castle that once stood here called Mecklenburg Castle, and it's believed this name means in Saxon a big castle, so despite the fact this castle no longer stands, we can presume it would have been pretty big. And of course, West Pomerania comes from the fact that it was the western part of the former region of Pomerania, with Pomerania being a region that runs across the Baltic Sea, in what is now Germany and Poland. Because part of Pomerania was Polish, the name comes from the Polish Pomorzy, meaning by the sea, as it's by the Baltic Sea. And yes, a certain species of dog has this region to thank for its name. As I mentioned, some of these states are simply just cities, and the city of Hamburg is one of them. Hamburg is the second largest city in all of Germany. It's also huge, just as many people live in the greater Hamburg area as they do in the entire country of Norway, and Hamburg's harbour is almost as big as Copenhagen. It's a huge maritime...
Wait. It has like less than 2 million people. Are there so many people in Norway? Norway. So sorry, there's a few people. No, 6 million people.
to Hamburg area as they do in the entire country of Norway.
Okay, but the Hamburg area, I guess. Hamburg state. Hamburg metro region, 5 million. Okay, but the Hamburg metro region is like this. It's more than the state of Hamburg. and they like Freistadt, Harburg, or whatever the fuck.
And Hamburg's harbour is almost as big as Copenhagen. It's a huge maritime industrial city that has a state unto itself. With Hamburg, you'll once again see the Berg suffix, which means castle, but the hand part is what to possibly mean bend/angle, as the city was built on a bend of a river. And of course, a certain kind of food has this city to thank for its name too. The smallest of all of Germany's states is called Bremen. It's actually split between two separate land areas, both within another region we'll talk about next. Not only is Bremen the smallest state, but it's also the least populated in Germany, consisting of just the city of Bremen and Bremenhaven. The city's name is thought to come from the Saxon blem or blemo, which means edge or brim, as the city was built on the edge/brim of the river Weser. As mentioned, the state of Bremen is completely engulfed in another state, with that state being Lower Saxony, which in German is called Niedersachsen. Lower Saxony is Germany's second largest state in size. It seems the state is really well known for their horses, so much so there's a horse on their flag and coat of arms. The Saxony part of this name comes from the name of the Saxon Germanic tribe, who yes, along the Germanic angles helped form the Anglo-Saxons, who inhabited the island of Britain. Saxon is thought to come from the German Saxa, meaning warriors with knives, come from the old Norse Sax, meaning knife/sword/dagger. Now this of course also explains to us how the region of just Saxony got its name, which is more in the south of Germany. Though this brings up the question of why there is somewhere called Lower Saxony that is more northern than the state of just Saxony. Well, the lower in Lower Saxony doesn't relate to cardinal directions, but more elevation. Just Saxony contains some of the Alps, and of course the Alps are rather high, so the Saxons who didn't live in the Alps were lower down, hence why they are Lower Saxony, despite being more northern. The name of Saxony also appears in the name of the region of Saxony Anhalt too, which is east of Lower Saxony. We know all about the Saxony part now, so what about the Anhalt part? It seems the Anhalt part originates from a ruined castle called Anhalt Castle, though from where the name of this castle comes from we don't seem to know. In the east of Germany we have the state of Brandenburg, and if you're anything like myself, you may be shocked to hear that Brandenburg is more than just a big fancy gate. While the state may be home to the city of Potsdam, 1/3 of the region is protected land with mountains, tree-lined roads, and lakes. We have the Berg part once again meaning castle, and I read the Brandon part means burn, so the name means burnt castle, which is pretty cool, but why this castle is burning, however, I couldn't find out. And within the state of Brandenburg, we have the state of Berlin, which, like Hamburg and Bremen, is a single city that's also a whole state. And of course, Berlin is the capital of Germany. It's a city steeped in a huge amount of history as one of my personal favourite cities in the world. Seriously, go to Berlin. As for where the name comes from, we have a few ideas. Berlin is a city heavily associated with bears. There's even a bear on their flag, and the name was thought to come from the name of these animals, coming from the German bar, meaning bear. But this is now considered something of a folk etymology. Today, it's thought to come from Slavic sources, meaning things like swamp or marshy place, as the city was initially founded on low, marshy swampland. In the west of Germany, we have the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. This is Germany's most populated state and includes many of the nation's well-known cities, including Cologne, Düsseldorf, and Dortmund. This state was formed in 1946 from the previous provinces of Westphalia and just the northern part of the Rhine province. The name Westphalia comes from west as it's in the west, and Phalia comes from a Germanic term meaning flat/level, so the name means West Flatlands. Germany also has an Eastphalia, but that name doesn't seem to be used too much in any modern sense. The North Rhine part comes of course from the Rhine River in West Germany, with this river's name coming from ancient root meaning to flow. In central Germany we have the state of Hesse. It seems that the name for this state is much like Saxony, in the fact it is named after settlers of the land, the Hessian tribe, though I was unable to find out where their name came from. Though, interestingly, for those with knowledge of the American Revolution, the word Hessian may ring a bell, as the German troops hired by the British to help them in the Revolution were also known as the Hessians, and much like with Hesse, the state of Thuringia is too named after the Germanic people who settled there, the Thuringi, though we aren't too sure how those people got their name either. South of here we have the states of Rhineland-Palatinate. The Rhine part we covered earlier with the Rhine River, but what about the Palatinate part of the name? Well, this has more to do with wine than the Rhine, as it's one of Germany's largest wine-grown regions. In German, Palatinate is called Flats, and this means palace/high official residence. Saarland is a tiny nook of a state in the southwest of the country. It's the smallest state apart from the aforementioned city-states, and its capital somewhat shares its name, being called Saarbrücken. The region is named after the Saar River, which runs through not just Germany, but France too. Baden-Württemberg is Germany's third largest state, and it came into creation in 1952, when the three smaller states of Württemberg-Baden, Baden, and Württemberg-Hohenzollern merged together. We've had places named after people, castles, and rivers, but it seems the Württemberg part of the name comes from a hill with the same name in the state's capital of Stuttgart, while the Baden part comes from the name of the spa town of Baden in the region, and Baden simply means bathing, kind of like how here in England we have a spa town called Bath. And finally, we have Germany's largest and perhaps most well-known state, minus the cities, Bavaria. The word conjures up the classic German image of lederhosen, beers, and beautiful scenery. Though, what about that name? Well, once again, we have a group of people to thank for it. This time the Celtic boy people, which turned into Latin Boeolia, and eventually into Bavaria. So, whether you were drinking beers in Bavaria or eating hamburgers in, well, Hamburg, now you have a better idea as to how the states of this wonderful nation got their names. The states of Germany were suggested by Sebastian, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explained's patron saint of the states of Germany. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that's name could be covered in a Name Explained video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explainer Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Name Explain depends on small monthly donations from fans like you to help keep the channel running. Just a small amount of $2 a month helps in a huge way, grants you patron exclusive Name Explain extras, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Stick around and check out another video and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Name Explain. You can follow myself on Twitter at NameExplainYT. Follow me there and tweet the name Jojo at me to know you came from this message. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.
Nordsee, Ostsee. Flats. Nemachka. East Westphalia. Ostwestfalen. These motherfuckers have a lot of sponsors, I think, in Porsche Racing. Whoa. I never really think about names since I'm so used to them. Yeah, I also rarely think about names here, I guess. I know the name of my town comes from the Arabic river of sand river. Okay, thank you for being here. I think I'm going to close stream now and go to get the Driver San Francisco game. I'm not going to wait until tomorrow. I want to play it tonight, I think. So yeah, thank you for being here and goodbye. Tomorrow, if I don't know what to do, I will watch an old video of mine and take notes and write a comment and discuss over it, maybe. Unless I think of something better to do or a topic to discuss in concrete or something like this. So yeah.